Cheap booster therapy.
Welcome to a new sub-series in the Critical Coffee Considerations channel. This one is called Cheap Bastard Therapy for a very good reason. So Rory announced it that I now officially started my coffee company, Critical Beans IT. So for coffee, cacao and tea and IT, a bit of everything. And in this sub-series I will just kind of go over the process of starting a company specifically in Belgium. Now you might be thinking, why is it called Cheap Bastard Therapy? Well, for me personally, starting a company is kind of a cheap bastard therapy. It is because my whole life I was never really able to spend money. It's always a painful process, however little it may be. So especially now buying an espresso for €2.50 is, for me personally, that's the edge. €3 is really painful. But I came from a time when an espresso in Italy was just 80 cents. An espresso macchiato 90 cents, or you might also get it for 80 cents. Not more than €1 in any case. A cappuccino was, I think, maybe €1.10, 20 cents. So this is a little bit besides the point, because of course we have inflation and it kind of makes sense. So as you're growing older, this inflation, it messes with your minds. I think there's a general tendency of people maybe to become, definitely if they were already a little bit cheap bastards, inflation doesn't help you. It definitely doesn't help you. Now, what did help me is my wife, because she doesn't seem to suffer from this same mental illness as I do, and she likes to spend money for certain purposes, and not all of them selfish. I mean, most of them, maybe she even likes helping people. Traveling, going to see new places, having a good time. So this all kind of made me think, like, maybe I should also learn to spend a little bit of money. And I'm, of course, getting older, past 40. At some point you also start thinking just saving money doesn't make sense. Where are you going to take it in 100 years from now? Nowhere. What good are you doing to the community just saving? Well, you are doing some good, as in preparing for diversity and then being able to spend money at a later point. For that purpose, it's good. You should save something. Spending everything is also not good. So in this whole process I was like, yes, I was always afraid of starting a company, like I will of course lose money. And now I was at a point that, even if you do traveling, costs several thousand euros. So I thought, well, for several thousand euros I can also have a mental trip being a business owner and trying to make it work. And in that regard, it is good being a cheap bastard, or you should do the exercise. But this is a very important point, being a fair cheap bastard. That's why I'm vocalize my position, not just to help myself, to help others. You have to realize, when you are at one side or the other of the spectrum, everybody is somewhere. He's not thinking at all about money and going gambling as an extreme example, or not being able to even spend €1 for something sensible, like maybe an espresso. So in this sub-series I'll go through all the steps that I'm taking on this therapeutic journey to get a company established here in Belgium. So if you want to do a similar journey, you can take this as a sort of roadmap. Of course, it should also, the general things you have to do are applicable, I guess, almost anywhere in the world where you have a free market. So is a free market a good thing? Well, there's depends how you define freedom. Maybe we'll discover that along the way. Thanks for following this journey. I was able to tape this from Chateau La Louche, something, I guess, a very nice place. That, of course, thanks to my wife that we are here, thanks to my wife that I am on this journey, and thanks to you that I have someone to share this with. So this is my Uncle Roy here. His picture is still up in the entrance of my parents' former restaurant. And this must have been some 15, maybe even 20 years ago. So he was not a cheap bastard like me, but he was much more politely just stingy. It's, actually today was his funeral, and I would have loved to go to pay him my respects. But my auntie said, "You can't come, he will get up out of his grave if you would raise money to come to the funeral." He was really a lovely uncle and a funny one. So this is a loving goodbye.